Okay. Let's roll this all the way back to the beginning. What we've been learning here in this particular segment of our series is to understand God's divine plan. Wisdom, definition, God's divine plan. God has a divine plan for earth and heaven. We learned that in the very first teaching in this part of our series. And we also learned that God has a divine plan for you and I, a plan for creation and a plan for the mankind that he has created. We are not here arbitrarily. There is a designed plan. We have to choose that plan. We have to choose to embrace it. We learned that there's fruit that has life in it. We learned that there's fruit that is lifeless, that wisdom is like a tree of life. We need to embrace it. We learned recently that wisdom is categorized or referred to in the female gender because it is a treasure that we need to learn how to protect. Once we have acquired it, once we have it in our possession, we need to learn how to put fences, guards up around it to protect it because of its great value. And we learned how to not to simply let go of it. You can never find anything as valuable as the life that God has given us. Now, I wanted to review those items so that we can understand this. There's a passage in the book of Deuteronomy that says this, and I'm just going to paraphrase. God speaking to Israel, but in the background of Israel is the rest of humanity. God says this, I set before you this day life and death, blessing and cursing, blessing and curse. Choose life. Choose life. Now, most of the time when I share on that scripture, I'm underscoring, putting all the emphasis on the fact that, you know what, God sets before us these two options, and then he tells us what to do. Choose life. That's very important. I want you to continue to hold on to that aspect of the teaching, that we know what to choose. Okay, so it's not a game. We don't have to wonder. We don't have to question. We know exactly what we should choose. But here's the thing that we also have to be aware of. Watch this. God speaking. He says, I set before you life, and death. Blessing, yes, and curse. God put death and curse in front of us as well. But when he says choose life, here's what we have to see in the subtext. If you choose life, then that also means you have to avoid death and avoid the curse. Don't act like it's not there. Don't pretend that you're so spiritual, you're so holy, that that you never ever encounter the possibility of walking in the wrong direction. It's not only misleading, it's not even spiritually intelligent. Because if you think you're so holy that you could never, ever make an error in judgment or in decision, then you are vulnerable already for literally falling into the snare, because you're not even aware that the opposing, contrasting path of life exists. But in Proverbs, he's teaching us not only what we should choose, but what we should avoid. Just as God set before us the choice of life and death, he wants us to recognize that the path of death does exist. Don't pretend. Don't act like it's not there. You will be the first to potentially fall into it. We need to learn some stuff we just should avoid. Don't enter in. That's what it says. Enter not into the path of the wicked. Don't enter in. If we don't, watch this, if we don't go in, then we'll never have to worry how to get out.